Sir, can you tell us your name, please?
My name is Vumile Spugter.
How well do you know Papi and Zed?
Very well, because Papi was my brother. We lived in the same yard, and Zed Michels was doing standard 7, was doing standard 8 in Tandutolo High School in Unique.
Were you part of the stake?
Not initially. Stego began in March 1985. It was launched. At the time, I was in Unique. Yeah. But I became a member later on.
What do you know about Papi and Zed Michels' death?
Yeah. I think what happened is that the students, or let's say the youth, and some students from the different schools, because schools were not attended during 1985, and then there were students sent back home, and then that was an opportunity then to organize the youth locally. Then Zed Michels was a student in Gravenet, so he came back to Stelable and organized the youth around a program of the UDF, which calls upon the youth to organize themselves under the banner of the UDF as youth congresses. So Stelable Youth Congress was launched in March 1985. You know, so that's when it started, and then thereafter the Stelable Youth Congress organized the youngest, even the youngest of them, to be part of their activities. So that event led to another event. Once you are organized, you will be given instructions that there is a program, a campaign, for instance, a campaign against all the injustice of the apartheid. Then, when it was launched in March, there were other programs that were launched, the cleaning of the community. There was a cleaning of the community, and there was a demand for the non-selling of alus. Alus is a sorghum beer. And then there was other programs that the youth Congress were engaged in. By the time they were busy engaging on that, then Matthew, Goniwe, and Talat and the others were killed at Blue Water Bay in Port Elizabeth while they were coming from a UDF meeting. So there was an outcry from all over, even here in Stelable, by the youth congresses to demonstrate their dissatisfaction about what had happened. What happened in Stelable, they organized themselves and they demonstrated in the streets. And when they reached the area of the colors, you know, during those days, there was a boundary between Violetu and Golden Valley. There was a fence. Yeah. A fence which indicates that you cannot cross that boundary to the other area without permission. Especially the colored people were not allowed to go to Violetu. Then the youth were doing toying and going down to Golden Valley, organizing people or voicing their dissatisfaction against what had happened to Matthew Koniwe and others. So the police, the only medicine the police had at those times was to disperse them through tear gas, rubber bullets, and so on. So they were shot at Henry James Street. Henry James Street is a street alongside the old restaurant. Yeah, so they were shot at and they were dispersed. After that, they were frightened because nobody in Stelable have ever been shot with a bad shot. And so it was their first experience. So they ran around in different directions. And then because the parents were worried about their kids, they organized their kids back home. And safely, they reached their homes. But during the night, there was a call upon the leadership then of the youth, Zed Michels and the others, that they must gather together so that if there is intention by the police to arrest them, they can arrest them, all of them in one place. That is, now no one should be left out. They decided they will burn a tire and guard around the tire so that the police can find them there. Unfortunately, the plans of the police were different because one, before they've gone to the tire, they've gone to the house of Homza Saku. Homza Saku was a black policeman. And they wanted to ask him, why are you shooting at us? because we were peacefully demonstrating. There was no one who was throwing stones at you. But because they were territorial, he felt that they are coming to him maybe to kill him, and then he ran away to the police station to report that his life is in danger. The plans then of the police was to call all the reservists, support from Janssenville, Klipplaat, of all the police stations so that they can come to Stellenbosch to assist them, because there is an uprising of something like that, and disobedience. So the police were called in, and the police came to Stellenbosch that night. They raided Vumile, which was very small then, and there were no lights in Vumile then, no lights at all. It was very dark, so the guys were standing. There were old toilets, public toilets, that were built in front of the shop of Mr. Doe's directly. Those toilets were always used as a garden space. So they were standing there, burning the tire, and all of them were called in, all the youth, especially the boys. When they gathered around the tire, and the police walked into the community, and they shoot at the tire with some grenade that they've bent off the tire, and then they started running in different directions. But because they know whom they want, they followed Zed and they followed Pap. Papi was running on the same direction which Michael was running. They shot a gas canister, and that is tear gas, and it hit him. I think that what caused him to be a little bit scary about what was happening, and he screamed, and they followed the scream, and he ran into the house where he lived, that is now Papi, and then they followed him, and they dragged him behind the old lady. His father was next door, locked up because he can't go out because the police were busy in the yard. Everybody was scared. He was dragged out and beaten and taken to the police that were waiting for Zed now. They wanted to arrest him. Unfortunately, when they were busy arresting him, he ran, and then that was a law by the president then, that if anyone runs, you must shoot. So when he was running, Zed Michel, they shot him, and it was a fatal shot. So he died, and they threw him in the van, and they threw Papi also into the same van, and then they drove them to the police station. I don't think they bothered anymore to run around and look for the others, because the others ran in different directions. Behind the hills there, others ran to the brick making area on the other side of Golden Valley. And then I think the next day, parents gathered together and searched for their kids. Some were going to the police station, and they were shown that no one is here and so on, until they found them later on, that they slept in Golden Valley and other places where they felt very safe. They found out that Zed Michel was shot dead. And the only person who would have been having evidence, even if he was a small kid, that what happened was Papi. He was still alive. Therefore, it was not possible for them to let him live longer. They left him in the police cell so that he may bleed of his wounds and not take him to hospital, so that he may bleed there, and he died in the police cells. And according to the statements by the prisoners that were kept there, at the court, they said that he was asking for water, but they couldn't give him water because they know if you give him water, he will live longer. And it's better if he dies so that he cannot witness what has happened with Zed Michels. There were commissioners then in different towns in the Eastern Cape, commissioners investigating police activities. So police were also fearing that maybe those commissioners will also be sent to Stella. So you see, that's how that happened during the time when Zed and Papi were killed. Thereafter, it was a little bit quiet because it was a sudden action that was not expected in such a small town, and people know each other here. We even known white people, our mothers were working here as domestic workers, so killing one another was not an option that we would have loved during those times. So that's what has happened in
So, has anyone saw Papi or Z's body, dead body?
In terms of the state or then, state machinery didn't allow evidence to be exposed to people who can be witness against them at a later stage, because the body of Papi was never shown to his family until the funeral. You're not allowed to see the body. You're not even allowed to do the cell where he died, because that was the law, because you will have evidence, and there were lawyers for human rights who were working with any youth organization for free. They were paid by overseas NGOs, so they feared that those lawyers will take this up and and expose them. So you were not allowed to see the body.
So, how did you feel when you heard Papi and Z were dead?
Yeah, my story is like this. I was working at the Grand Bazaar. Grand Bazaar is not shop right now. As a worker there on the radio, there were no televisions like today. On the radio, we hear that in Afrikaans news that another violence erupted in a small town in the Karoo of Stelaville, and 2 people died. Johannes Vetboy stroke Spugter and Vumile. Then I decided to consult with my manager so that I can ask him what possibilities are there for me to have an off for the whole weekend, because you must remember this was happening on a Wednesday. Papi died on a Thursday. Thursday, yeah. Thursday or Friday, between those 2 days. And then Saturday, on the news, I hear that Papi passed on and Z. So I asked him whether I could have an off, because you must remember that Papi was a young guy, very brilliant at school, and we wished that he could continue with his studies even he's getting old, so that he can be something. In those days, families were judged upon their education. If you are educated, you're regarded in a certain status, So we hope that these clever guys can do that, because Papi is older than Matix, that but Matix is a very younger person than Papi.
Yeah.
So Matix was also clever, but a little bit young, So when I hear that, those days there were no taxis. You have to board a train to Stelaville. It will take about many hours, from 6 up to 12 o'clock at night. You will arrive here and be transported by a taxi up to Stelaville. So when I came here, I was very disappointed, because he was very young, and I don't think the police, because Zed was only 20 years old, so they could arrest him. I don't think it was difficult for them to arrest a 20-year-old, Yes, Zed was broad, but he was not broader than the police. They were big people, and there were many of them. Shooting him was unnecessary. It was a heartbreaking process, because, during '85, many black people were being shot at as if their life is very cheap, So it was very, very, very painful to come to Stelaville and witness that really these 2 guys have died.
Thank you, sir, for your time and for the information. We hope to get some information from other people like yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you.